Hello my dear professionals, welcome back to the channel. So I've been lately seeing some news here and there from the first quarter of 2023 that MNCs are laying off freshers or anybody who falls into that fresher category, basically beginners whom the company trains and then expect some deliverables from them. So there are a lot of factors that contribute to this decision of laying off, and it's a mix of some factors that are beyond our control as an employee and some factors are in very much control and we can do something about it and not fall into that list. So you guys, in today's video I'll let you know what those factors are which are in your control and you can do something about it, and that will help you not land into that layoff list. So on that note, let's get started. Number one reason is ignorance. Whether you see it obviously or you do not see it obviously, as a HR, I can tell you from my experience, whenever freshers are hired in a company, most of them, I'm not saying like all of them, but most of them, majority of them are quite ignorant. They are still in that college mindset where they do not take things seriously or they roam around just casually, or you can easily find them sleeping in the medical rooms for no reason. I mean, they are just killing the time there. So that attitude of ignorance and not taking your job seriously puts them in trouble, and before they know it, they are already in that layoff list or they get terminated, because these companies are spending millions of money on those training and development programs that freshers go through casually and they do not realize the importance of it. If you are someone who is not that ignorant and you take your job seriously and you know from the day one that it's a job, it's not a regular college training, and you take your deliverables seriously from the day one, then you do not have to worry about getting laid off by the companies, because companies need such people. And you know it or not, I'll re-emphasize it, most of the freshers fall into this ignorant category. Next factor on the list can be no relevant projects. Now this again is associated somehow with your performance or your willingness to learn. See, if you are above average performer as a fresher, as a beginner, there's no problem with it. But as soon as you fall into average or below average category, then it gets difficult for the manager or the company to assign you to a project, because company projects are not like college projects where you can just casually handle them, or you can make a lot of mistakes. So if you are somebody who is not yet on that above average scale, then the company finds it really difficult to find a project that suits you or you can work on, because there are no beginner friendly projects as such for which the company is getting paid. All the projects are really important and crucial for any company, and if they cannot find a project for you, then obviously they cannot make you sit and give you salary for doing nothing. They will have to ultimately lay you off. So make sure that you do not fall into that below average category, or where you do not have the attitude of up leveling yourself. So do not give that vibe of, oh, I'm still learning, it's a long way to figure out things. Do not give that vibe, otherwise there will be no relevant projects for you in the company, and company will not give you salary for sitting idle if they cannot find a project which suits your level of skill set. Moving on to our next point, which is taking too long to settle down in the company. Sometimes freshers play their I am new card for little too long, which puts them in trouble, which means they take too long to understand what the policy is or what the processes are. Every time they are questioned about their negligence, the answer comes, oh, I'm still new, I don't know what to do, nobody told me what is the process, so I'm still figuring it out. So this mindset that fresher has, that somebody has to tell them what to do, is something that actually puts them in trouble. I know it can be overwhelming. You are new to the culture, you are new to the work, you are new to the infrastructure, to the processes. It's all overwhelming and you do not know how to start, where to start. But that's why people like me are here on this social media platform, making you guys aware that it's your job to figure that out. Do not wait for somebody else to introduce you to process, to things. You have to take that first step, that first initiative to figure out things, what the process is, how to do the things. And you are not expected to play your new card, I think, more than a month. Company wants you to settle down as soon as possible so that you can start delivering the actual work for which you are hired. So take that first step to get yourself familiarized with the processes and the culture of the company, because nobody else is coming there to introduce you to the processes or people around. You have to make that effort. Next point on the list is not upskilling yourself with variety of technologies. Now, most of the MNC companies have their own learning portals, which are no less than an online university, guys. Every single one of them. They spend a lot of money, time, and energy in putting all the content in their learning portals. So, if as a beginner, you are being given a training of, say, for example, any programming language, say Java or Python or any sort of language, but still there are some other technologies that are required for the role and are used in the company but are not actively taught in the training program that you're undergoing. It's your responsibility to see what technology company works on, or and what kind of softwares and tools company is using, and you have to yourself then spend time on those learning portals to familiarize yourself with those technologies, to learn those technologies, because you can find all the help that you need in learning new technologies already in the company. You do not have to scratch your head that how to do it, where to do it. You do not have to watch YouTube videos, or you do not have to take the certification programs. It's available inside the company. So you have all the resources out there, and then if you still do not perform and you waste your time in doing things which are not relevant to your job, to your deliverables, then company cannot stand it. And the manager who is assessing your performance throughout your training or throughout your deliverables, he or she can very easily pick and point that this person is not doing anything by himself or herself and is good for nothing. So whenever the next decision of laying off comes, you will for sure be in the list if you are not upskilling yourself. Next point on the list is if too much input is required for you to work. The companies hire employees to do a certain task. When the manager realizes that existing team is not able to deliver all the task and the work is overflowing, that's when a new requisition is created, means a new employee is hired. Now, if you are that new employee as a beginner, they train you, then you go on to the real job, you deliver. But if you are reaching out to a colleague or peer every single time when you have to deliver something, and every single time repeatedly you ask the same questions, every time you need a lot of inputs to complete your work, so much so that the person feels that it's good that he or she does the work himself, because giving inputs to you is taking the equal amount of time, then it doesn't make any sense. Then in those cases you will land in the layoff list for sure, because nobody wants such an employee in the team, which is more of a burden rather than a relief. So, and I've seen this happening with people who do not take notes particularly. Because you are a fresher, you are a beginner, it's very obvious that you are not going to be an expert the very first time when you do a task. If you did that task on, say, for example, Monday, and you never took any notes because you felt that I understand the process, I understood everything, I can do it. But by the time next Monday comes and you are asked to do that task again, you do not have any notes. Believe me, you'll only have like 50% of the memory of the whole task, and then you will ask the same question again from your peers who made you understand the last Monday. So this irritates your existing team and your manager, and people who continue to do this and do not take notes mostly fall into this category, and they then land into trouble without any reason. Next point on the list is BGV failure, which is background verification failure. Sometimes freshers do not realize the importance of data. They put false data into BGV verification. For example, their percentage, if it is, say, for example, 79.2, but they put it 80%. So those kind of discrepancies also happen. And if the company is strict enough, they will reject the BGV, not because it's not a point of, oh, it was just like few points here and there, what's a big deal. It's not about that. It's about truth and lie, that you lied about your percentage and the criteria was 80% or whatever the criteria was. So then those people also falls into trouble. And sometimes people even do this with the degrees also, like you got a distance degree but you lied about it and you said it's a full-time degree. Then in verification it gets failed and then you are then laid off for that reason. So that's happen very often. So guys, please do not fake your degrees or do not fake your percentages. Whatever it is, let it be, because if the company has strict criteria, you will land in trouble anyways. Then why to enter in a job where you will be laid off in just 1 month or 2 months of joining? And who knows, you can get blacklisted also from that company, and you will not be able to apply for next few years just because you lied about your percentage or your degree. So do not do that, and whatever your percentage or your degree is, just be truthful about it. If that company is not hiring you, eventually you'll find something that is more in alignment with your interest and with your credentials. Moving on to our next reason, that is also very common, and it is communication gap. Because freshers are new and everything is new for them, and they do not know the process yet, the importance and the seriousness of small things, they often land into trouble for very small things. For example, as a fresher, you wanted to take leave, you are not well, and what you did, you called your friend who joined with you just a month ago, and you informed him that hey, I'm sick, and tell the manager and I'll not be coming to work. This is not how it works in jobs. You have to pick up the phone and talk to your manager, because he's the person who will approve, disapprove the leave, and he's the person who has to manage the work, so he will convey things accordingly. You cannot just inform somebody in your team who is your colleague and wash your hands off it. No, you have to make sure that there's no communication gap between you and your manager, especially when you are new. Maybe when you are very old in the company, you specialize and it's been 5-6 years, then if you do the same thing, it's fine, because by then you have a rapport with the manager and peers. But initially, as a fresher, you cannot afford to do that, because freshers are anyways judged on their discipline, how they behave, their attitude. So at that point, you cannot take a chance to do all of this. Make sure that you are in continuous connect with your manager. There is no gap in respect of your deliverables. If you have any query, if you want to go on leave, or if there's any other situation happening with you, you must be in touch with your manager all the time. He or she should know what's happening in your life, as in work life, what's happening, whether you're showing up, not showing up, everything. So make sure that you do not keep a gap. Otherwise, that will be a shortcut to the layoff list. Next on the list is not a reason of layoff, but I wanted to share this because I've seen this happening with people, that they ruin their career solely because of their ego. Here by ego, I mean that people often associate their self-worth, their image, their ego with the company brand that they're working with. Say for example, let's say you are placed in Wipro and you got trained and everything has happened, you came on the job, you know already that the company is evaluating and there are chances of layoff, and you are somehow feeling that you can be in the layoff list. In such a cases, I've seen people that they hunt for the jobs, but they do not take the offers from startup or from the companies which they think are less reputed than Wipro. First thing guys, let me tell you very honestly, 90% of the freshers do not know which company is reputed and which not. Whatever idea you have about the reputation of the company, that this is MNC, this is good, this is not good, is totally wrong. You will realize this after completing 5-6 years in the industry. So do not depend on your perception of which company is good or not. Do proper research and do not associate your egos with the brand name. If you are sensing a situation like this, and if you are getting a good reasonable offer, go there. Take that offer. Otherwise, very soon you will be in a situation that Wipro will lay you off, and that offer you anyways didn't take, and then you will message to people like me that this has happened now, can I go back and ask that company if the offer is still valid? Do not do that, because by the time you wake up, that company might have hired somebody else. We do not have any shortage of resources in the Indian market. We have plenty of them. So keep your eyes and ears open. Do not work in silos. Make sure that you're aware of your surroundings, what's happening, what your peers are talking about, what's going in the business of the company, and take decisions before it's too late. And last point on the list, which is again not a reason, but I wanted to discuss this as well. See, layoffs, whenever they are announced, they cannot be retracted. They cannot be taken back. Those decisions cannot be taken back, because by the time you get the news, it's already been circulated and approved and whatnot through all the management people. So it cannot be retracted at all. It is a well thought decision, well calculated decision. No matter what you do, what you say, how much you cry, it cannot be retracted. I know it is it's so heartbreaking, but that's how it is. It cannot be retracked. So what you have to do in that situation, if you are being laid off, then what's next? As soon as you hear the news, make sure that you're aware of your benefits. You take all of it and then leave. Remember, I talked about at will employment. If you are not aware about that, then you can see the video which I did. I'll put a link somewhere on the I button. Make sure you watch that video, because if you have not read your offer or appointment letter thoroughly, and if it is a at will employment, if you have agreed and signed to an at will employment, that means there's no benefit that company is liable to pay you. Even the notice pay will not be there. So make sure that you read your documents thoroughly. And the reason why you'll not be given any money when you're laid off, if it is at will employment, make sure you watch that video and understand it well, because then company can let you go like the same day without any notice, without any reason also. So make sure that you read your papers properly and then agree to anything. So guys, these were a few points. If as a fresher you take care of all of this in your first job, in first year of your job, you will be all safe until the layoff is happening from some other reason. For example, the company got bankrupt, or it's acquired, or something else, or it's downsizing. So I really hope that you found the information helpful. And if you still have any queries regarding this, make sure you put them in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. With that, I'm signing off. You keep on watching more content on the Corporate Diaries to be corporate ready, and I'll see you in my next one. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.